Alright, hello, thanks for stopping by. My name is Jasmine and this is another video for a commentary on grief. I apologize my voice isn't, too great today. This is a very hard video for me to do. I really hope that it's a blessing to everyone who watches today. So let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about some very uncomfortable stages, even for me. Anger, fear, panic, and guilt. On the day that I was supposed to have my C-section, I sat in my little closet and said, God, I don't know what's going to happen today, but if you had to take somebody, take me. Because the truth is, the worst fear for any mom is to lose her child. So needless to say, I was pretty upset when I lost him. I only got about 47 hours with my child. I was angry that I didn't have more time. I was also angry because I didn't know what he was going through in my womb that whole time. I had gotten really sick around November of last year. Didn't know what was going on. I mean, just a lot of pain. I would sleep a lot. I wasn't really eating. A lot was going on. And my doctors in Spain didn't really know, what I had going on. They thought maybe I had like low iron or something like that. But, it ended up being more than that. And here we are. When I was still at the hospital recovering, there was a time I like to call the witching hour. So around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, all the babies in the ward would start crying. All of them. And I would get this pain in the pit of my stomach. And then next thing you know, like my milk started to produce and whatnot because it's responding to that cry. And I would be so frustrated because I'm like, I want this time with my son. I should be bonding with him. He should be, getting the nutrients that he needs, X, Y, and Z. But now I gotta sit here and listen to these babies that aren't mine and just heal. And I can't really heal right. So I had to think about, how my son was doing in the NICU and if I had enough strength, because if you ever had a C-section, it takes a lot out of you. A lot. And if I had enough strength, I would, get in the wheelchair, go over to see him and try to spend as much time as I could. And try not to be upset that I couldn't hold him and I could only touch his hand or his leg. I didn't have enough strength to reach over to touch the top of his head most of the time. Even now, I still get upset when I hear babies crying like over the phone or in public. I don't really go out much now because of quarantine, but in shows and movies, that tends to be pretty hard because there's no like trigger warning for babies crying. That's a normal thing, right? It was probably the most upsetting thing that I had to go through because here I am. I can't even watch a show. I can't watch a movie without having to be reminded of what just happened to me. And I just want to kind of not worry about that for 2 seconds. You know what I mean? So, like, I had to have my mom kind of like screen some of the things that I was watching to make sure that nothing would trigger me. And then at some point, I eventually just started watching like anime and stuff like that. And I'm a little nerd, I'm sorry, but that's what worked for me. for a while. Sorry, I live in the city. I wish that I had a second opinion. Um, I had gone to the hospital a couple of times um, around November, around October, November, um, just trying to make sense of things. They would say I had like the flu or something like that. And I'm like, this isn't a flu. This isn't a sinus infection. Something is wrong. I still feel guilty about that. You know what I mean? Even though it was completely out of my control, I still feel it. And now, with everything that's going on in our country and in the world, I can't imagine what everybody else is going through who still has children, who has living, healthy children. And I have to watch myself because I feel guilt that my son will not have to worry about that. The only things that have helped me with these particular things were not only writing to my son, but making sure I give myself time to process the emotion and understand the source of what's happening, why it's happening. I really like dragonflies. And there was a time after I lost my stepdad, actually, a few years ago, where they became a significant symbol for me to just keep going. So I started to see dragonflies everywhere. I'm like, okay, you're here. Thank you. Another thing that helped was gratitude. When you go through something really traumatic, you don't really focus on being grateful because the trauma, like, okay, this really awful thing just happened to me. Like, why? Why me? Of all people, why me? I don't wish this for anybody. And then thanking my friends because I know that it was a lot for them too. And I was just kind of, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to process it. But my friends who really took the time to sit with me in my grief, I thank you guys so much. Y'all have been a true blessing for me and helped me get to a much better place a lot faster than I probably would have on my own. My mom especially, like, she would sit with me in the middle of the night when I couldn't do anything. You have to be thankful for those people that you can sit with and not have to worry about doing anything. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to always have the words to say. Um, you're not going to know what to do. You're not going to know how to explain it. But it's important to have people that you can just kind of sit with because you still need that presence. You don't want to be alone. So that's all I have for today. It's a very hard video to watch, I'm sure. It was a hard video for me to do, but I hope it's a blessing to you. And if nobody's told you today, you are loved, you are enough, you are amazing, and your feelings are 100% valid. And until next time.